Well, you all knew this one was coming. I knew it was coming. The whole world knew this was coming. This year was the biggest year for Spider-Man. We had the Spider-Man Noir show. I was very pleased with that because Nick Cage did a very good Spider-Man Noir. And I am very pleased with how he played a version of Spider-Man that we have not really fully seen. So I'm still happy with that. But our greatest attribute for Spider-Man this year was seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man Brand New Day. First part of this video will be non-spoilers. I actually want to get into the movie a little bit more, and I actually want to talk fully about what I hope to see with this movie. And I just want to give my general thoughts about like what I feel for this movie. Now, don't take my melatonin voice as a sign of disappointment, because I have a lot of excitement. And right now, it's because of what's going on with this movie. And I can fully say that I am very happy and pleased with how this movie went. Start off with the great things that I like. Non-spoilers first. I'll let you guys know when we get into spoilers. But for right now, this movie was amazing. Beautiful. Oh, the coloring. The suit. I mean, come on. Tom Holland's Spider-Man now has the greatest spider symbol that I want as a tattoo. Yeah, I'm a big tattoo guy. I love tattoos. So the minute they give me a tattoo idea, I really want Tom, Toby, and Andrews as a tattoo. Well, let's not get carried away first. Let's talk about what else I liked. I loved the Punisher in this. If you didn't know, John Bernthal's Punisher is in this. And I'll talk more about him in the spoilers because there's a lot to talk about with him. And the Hulk was a great addition too. The villain was A-okay in my opinion. I'll talk more about her later too. Overall, this movie just excited me for Spider-Man. And the way Tom has been, it was more Spider-Boy. Spider-Kid. Spider something, you know. Really wasn't Spider-Man yet. We delved more with him dealing with the Avengers stuff and dealing with Tony and all that. But overall, it really wasn't Spider-Man. And I wasn't mad at that. I still like Homecoming. It's a great start for Tom in high school, as I think he was just barely a sophomore in high school. So he was still young, 15, 16, doing Spider-Man stuff. It's younger than most of the Peter Parkers that have started. Far From Home was a good movie. I'm not going to say it's the best movie, and it's definitely not the greatest one. It's kind of low on my scale, because overall, it just didn't feel like Spider-Man enough. It just felt like, hey, we're taking Spider-Man out of New York, and we're going to place him in Europe, and he'll go from there. Mysterio is still a good character. I loved Mysterio. I loved Jake Gyllenhaal's version of Mysterio, but I didn't like how they treated Mysterio. Just, oh, it's another Tony Stark villain that turned to Spider-Man. It's like, okay, whatever. No Way Home, still the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time. I don't care if I'm blinded by nostalgia. That movie will hold the test of time, because seeing Tom realize, hey, my villains can come and kill me if they really want to. They can literally just end my entire existence, because Toby and Andrew's villains did not play, especially Toby's. We can never sit here and say what the Green Goblin was going to do to Toby, what Doc Ock really put him through in Spider-Man 2, still a good movie to this day, all three of his. And then the Sandman literally beat the snot out of him with the Venom suit. So that says a lot. And then Andrews, you know, you had the Lizard, really didn't try to per se end him, but mostly just led him down a kind of weird path with mutations. And then Electro, I mean, good luck handling electricity on that scale of what Electro was in his movies. But this movie for Tom is Spider-Man, and I love it. You know, him battling the depression of being alone and the anxiety of it, and always taking on as Spider-Man. Of course he's gonna have that mutating gene take over, and I applaud them for doing that, because that's a storyline in the comics that's been dived into two different versions. One where he becomes Man Spider, and one where it literally just is the worst thing forever for him, because then he has to go to a different side of being Spider-Man. So I generally do like that, and that's one thing I will applaud them for that, on doing and doing it right. The other thing that I like, without spoilers, is that MJ and Ned fit into the movie very, very well. And what I mean by that is that they weren't just shoehorned in as, oh, they're the main plot of this movie. No, they are there but they're not there to advance the plot to fix what happened in No Way Home. They're there to show that Peter does miss having that connection with humans, and the mutation stopped for a little bit because of what was going on in his head. And that made sense. And I like that because at first I didn't really care for them to come back because I was like, oh, come on, he could do that with anybody though. But of course, when you have friends that you were going to go to college with, that you were willing to do anything with, that they held his secret for so long, they were on his back for everything, those are true friends that you never want to lose memories of and don't want to just push away. You care to keep them out of harm's way, but you're not willing to just forget about them. Now, of course, they forgot about him, but they're not going to just be like, oh yeah, we don't care about Peter Parker. That's one thing I loved. Because the spell did work, and it just made Peter make him isolate and do his work. Yeah, he loved it, but of course the mutation's gonna take over in that sense. So, if you guys want my honest opinion, go see this movie in theaters. It's fun. Every theater that I went to, because I've already seen it twice, I'm planning to see it like 4 more times. I don't care, because I like what they did with this Spider-Man. And in the spoilers, I'll talk more about why and fully what I want out of this Spider-Man. But I just want to give you guys a general aspect of like, this Spider-Man is Spider-Man. And Tom excelled it with emotion, with the way he wore the suit, the way he handles in the suit, what was going on with the mutation. They could have done a little bit more in my sense. But again, that's for future movies to also expel. And for the director who directed Shang-Chi, you are a legend for making this movie. Honestly, hands down, the greatest director that's touched Spider-Man. Second to Sam Raimi, you understand Peter Parker and what Stan Lee was going for, and Steve Ditko. So, let's get into spoilers, because I have a lot I want to talk about in the future of Marvel for Spider-Man, and some characters that are in this. So, if you guys don't want to see spoilers, I'm going to let the video play for at least a little bit longer, maybe about 15 seconds if you want to click off. Thank you for watching up to this far. I'll catch you in the spoilers in a little bit. Let's talk spoilers. If you guys are here for spoilers, get ready because we have a shit ton to talk about. First, Spider-Man and the Punisher together is the greatest thing ever. I will stand by that. Jon Bernthal and Tom Holland need to keep doing these Spider-Man movies together because they excel at something that I never thought I could see with the Punisher and Spider-Man. Yes, is this Punisher toned down to PG-13? Of course. It's a Spider-Man movie that really is based on just, certain aspects of being Spider-Man. If it was really that bad, it'd be a lot worse. But it's not. So we'll take for what we got. And I'm happy with what we got because Jon Bernthal as the Punisher was perfect in this movie. The scenes that they had together, Jon Bernthal actually cussing in the movie, this did feel like an adult Spider-Man. Because Jon Bernthal was calling him a dumb A, a jack A. I'm not going to cuss because I don't want to get demonetized on this video alone. So, yes, he does cuss at him, and there's aspects of the Punisher still there that I liked from the TV shows that we got with Jon Bernthal. So overall, perfect. Tom Holland's relationship with Zendaya and Ned needed to stay the way it did. And I don't know what the future of that holds. Because, again, they were with an Omega level mutant. That is Jean Grey. That's my second point I'm going to talk about, is Jean Grey in this movie. Do I wish she wasn't a villain? Yes. But they had to introduce a mutant in that way that I kind of like, but I kind of wish they kind of like didn't do the whole like, oh, she's okay for what she did because of her sister. I get that. We all would push our limits to protect our family or find out what happened to our last little bit of family. If she would have just been a little bit more like, I'm sorry, Peter, for what I did, and I promise I will try to fix it, and I will try to do my best. Because the way she did her little villainous thing of hopping through people, and then at the end taking control of a bunch of people throughout I think it was like a big old like almost 20-mile radius, and then just holding them there hostage. Yeah, you kind of have to have a little bit more sympathy than just disappearing at the end. So she will return in future movies. But my thing about it is they could have done it a little bit better. I'm not mad. I'm just wanting a better story for that. Because they're letting a lot of these females get off the hook of like, oh, I had a big trauma problem. Look at Spider-Man. I'm sorry. Look at Spider-Man. This man has lost his uncle, has lost his parents, has lost a lot of people. But he's not going around killing people. Even in the montage of Spider-Man protecting New York, there's literally a scene where a guy literally is about to fall off the building. And Spider-Man's not like, that's funny, you're falling off the building. Huh? Yeah, whatever, I'm Spider-Man, I can do what I want. No, he jumps off the building to save a guy that was shooting at him. But we're supposed to be okay with Jean Grey or Wanda or half these women that will go around doing horrendous stuff and then just be like, oh, I just had a personal problem. No, that's not how storytelling works. This is why Spider-Man's the greatest hero of all time. This man has been pushed to his very limits, who literally through this movie is going through a metamorphosis of letting his arachnid genes take over. And yet he's still the same person. And when he gets out of it, like literally, there is a scene in this movie where that gene takes over and he beats the living snot out of Scorpion, throws him into a cop car. And the cops are like, what the heck? This isn't Spider-Man. He protects us. He, out of that little, just a little snippet that we got to see of that, got out of it and was wanting to make sure the cop was okay. How many heroes are saying that nowadays? Not many. They just make a joke about it or they don't care. But this is why I loved Spider-Man, this movie, because it showed a hero that is very well taken care of. And I hate to say it, like someone like Sam Wilson or like the Thunderbolts, they really weren't taken care of because they're just B-list characters that we don't care for. Same with Ant-Man, same with, I hate to say it, I love Thor, but Thor, since Thor 3 got treated so badly in his movie that it was just made for jokes. But here in this movie, battling with that depression that Peter has, with being alone, the anxiety, the constant pain that he has, it didn't turn him into a bad person or turn his mutations into jokes. He was taken very seriously. Even MJ, when she's saying they're helping him with the device because he's just trying to fix it so he doesn't go around hurting people, she didn't treat it as a joke. She was like, well, why are you trying to contain it? And he's like, well, there's something inside me that you haven't seen, and I don't want to hurt people. And she goes, well, I've been with you for almost a few hours, and you haven't shown it. That shows a level of character that Peter has. That when he's alone, yes, he's going to figure it out, or try to, but he can't. But when MJ was with him, she helped him, and she cared for him, because that's what some people should be doing with people. And that's what I loved about this. It's because it shows, like, you don't need to be doing stuff alone. Yes, we're going to go through hardships, loss, pain, this big thing with depression that goes around. I have it too. And I know a lot of probably my followers that, are dealing with it are going to do stuff alone or push people away because we don't want to put them through that. But if they're willing to help us and we can help them and protect them better than they can protect themselves, then that means a lot to be just like Spider-Man. And this is what I loved about this movie. Because it shows a level of, like, you don't need to do all this alone. And this is why Spider-Man, I'm going to keep saying it, is a superhero. And a hero for all of us. When Stan Lee says anyone can wear the mask, you can. Because Spider-Man is meant to feel for us. Tom Holland fit the role of a younger Peter. So when the new generation was coming up, they would feel that love for Spider-Man. I mean, there's still a love for Spider-Man regardless. How many people hold Tobey's movies above everything as Spider-Man? I do. I love the first two Spider-Man movies. Third one, a little bit different because it was just not my cup of tea. Andrews. Yeah, they have the biggest flaws known to man. But I love the first one for what it looked like. And I loved his rendition of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. His movements were more spider-like compared to Tobey. And that was us growing up with Andrew at the time. And yeah, we would have loved to see him in the MCU. But that younger version for Tom was literally perfect for the MCU. A new generation hero that is still a hero that we're all used to. And we're just loving it. I loved it. The ending literally has Peter getting shot by the Punisher because he literally is going to put Jean Grey down. Justified? Maybe. I'm still holding that accountability for her. So yes, the Punisher is justified for wanting to shoot her. But Peter senses that bullet. He hears that cocking of the sniper and that shot. And he stepped in front of her so she wouldn't die. How many heroes would have done that besides making a joke about it? Or just letting her die because they thought that was the right thing to do. But Peter knows she's still young. She's still growing with her powers. Yes, she outburst because when she found out about her sister dying, because they got taken by Damage Control, which, screw that company. I hope Damage Control never comes back. If they do, they're the bulk of the reason why most of the MCU is going to fail in that bad part. I'll speak on that in a minute. But when he stopped that bullet, she was so scared for him. She wasn't like ready to run because he told her, "Go, Jean, they're going to find you. They're going to take you again." She goes, "No, I want to help you." And yes, she does save his life by helping him, going into his body and breathing for him. And when the Punisher took him to the hospital, Frank felt so bad. Frank was right there by his side that whole time, like, "No, I'm going to stay here and hope this kid pulls through." Because the Punisher felt so bad for shooting Peter. And I guess Jean was with him and telling him, "Hey, I'm protecting him. I'm trying to make..." She probably was telling him that I was doing right. And I give her that. If she was doing that and there's a deleted scene of that, I am willing to put that whole Jean Grey thing aside. Because that is a thing that I hope she does say and says, "You know what? I was trying for Spider-Man and I'm sorry that I put you all through this. Went through everyone's head. I shouldn't have done that." If they would have done that as a thing, I would be okay with it. Because that's actually a scene written and that's actually canon. But for now, we'll just continue on. But for Frank to stay by Spider-Man's side, I loved. Because that shows that he does have a heart. And I mean, he always did. Because he tells Peter, when Peter's like, "Frank, I'm just like you. I'm just isolating myself." And he goes, "You think I want to be doing this shit, man? Do you think I actually want to be isolated and be a monster for the rest of my life? And then if I had them here, do you think I'd cower behind a mask? No. I'd be a man about it." And that's all Frank wants to do. Is he didn't isolate himself because he wants to. He had to because the people that took his family took him to a dark place and he couldn't get out of it. And his only way to do it is the right way he sees fit. But he sees the potential in Peter. And he tells him, "No, you can do better." And when he saw his face, even Peter was like, "Wait, where's my face?" He goes, "Nah, don't worry about that, man. We're going to get you out of here. And we're going to make it right." And when Peter walks down them steps outside to see all the people waiting for Spider-Man just to wake up, he heard somebody, "There's Spider-Man." And he got scared for a second, but it was just Sean Bernthal giving him a little distraction so he could walk out of here, just to show that Spider-Man's alive and ready to go back and kick butt. And I love that because Peter's seeing, I am loved by a lot of people. A lot of people are happy that I'm doing what I do. Yeah, he's going to be lonely still. But the thing that's different between Tom, Toby, and Andrew is Andrew and Toby had people. Peter still had Harry. He had MJ, which I still wish was a lot better written, but we'll go past that. He had Gwen for a little bit. He had people that he would consider his friends. He had Aunt May. So he was never going to mutate because he knew if he could still do his thing, Aunt May would still push him to drive a little bit further. And each movie progressed that a little bit. Might have backtracked in the third one, but we'll let that one decide itself. And then Andrew. In the first one, he had Gwen. So yeah, he felt that drive. He had something to push for. And then the second one, he still had Aunt May and Gwen off and on. But he had Harry. And then again, Harry did turn evil too, which is a case for Spider-Man villains. But that's going to be normal. We're still waiting for Ned Leeds to turn into Hobgoblin. But overall, this movie is a Spider-Man movie. And right now, it's on track for its biggest first weekend. $927 million its opening box office weekend. How many movies have done that? Besides The Odyssey, that had a good, and is still going good, on a good run. But let's take a look at Supergirl. Okay? I've heard this is a spoiler edition of the video. All she did was party. All she did was drink herself away. Didn't wear her suit, didn't care to be a hero. because she lost her family. Look at the difference there, okay? We get to see a hero that put himself into his work. Yes, is he depressed? But he still did good. Cared for people. Cared to wonder if Jean was okay. Cared to know that MJ and Ned were okay when they were being attacked. Cared to know that the Punisher was okay. The Punisher is a better hero than Supergirl was. There's a difference in the balance of heroes. This is the reason why I will always say Spider-Man will be a top-notch hero. Because Spider-Man gives that little ounce of hope for us. Because yes, he will sometimes be single. Yes, sometimes he'll be lonely. Sometimes he'll be depressed to where he doesn't even want to get up. He'll get beat down. He'll get knocked around. But Peter Parker as a human is the most genuine human anyone can ever be. No matter how many villains want to hurt him, no matter how many girlfriends dump him because they're tired of him not being there for them when he's trying to protect the city that they live in and just be there for the people he loves. No matter what, Peter Parker as Spider-Man will always be a great Spider-Man. Miles too, but we'll talk about Miles when the next Spider-Verse or a Miles movie comes out. But for Peter Parker, I don't think I could ever get tired of saying that name because I love that name and I love this hero and I love how this movie was portrayed. If even the comic was just the worst one more day because Peter sold his soul or sold his marriage to Mephisto, this rendition did it better. Yeah, do I have a problem with the villain? Yeah. But she did do what she needed to do, and she just moved on. Same with Scorpion. I was really hoping for some more Scorpion, but you know what? We'll maybe get some more different villains in the later movies, because I got a feeling they should not be wasting time. Spider-Man's the greatest hit. Create a good story. Bring back Daniel Dustin Craig for Spider-Man. You can make $3 billion just off of this hero alone because of what he does. I wouldn't even care if Spider-Man went chasing pigeons for half a movie. Because this movie was great. I will say one spoiler. I do love that they hinted, or they had a little rendition of him going through the little organic web shooting thing, because the mutation pushed for more organic webs, just like Toby did, but he doesn't know how to control it because he's never dealt with it. Toby right away was dealing with it right away. Still funny that he was able to control it. And Tom's over here stressing out. The little Bad Bunny hint that they did, because, you know, Bad Bunny was meant to play a villain. I can't remember what it was. It's like one of the wrestle villains and never went through as a movie. So it's cool to see that Bad Bunny got shouted out in this movie. But as a Spider-Man fan, I can confidently say this movie's up in my top 5 as a great Spider-Man film. I'm not going to list off my list. A lot of people have been doing that. I don't need to. Because I love all 3 of these Spider-Men equally. And to the people in the comments that will say, well, Tom can't make a movie without having others in it. Like other heroes. Like Doctor Strange, the other Spider-Man, Punisher, and Hulk. Okay. But Supergirl or Batman or whoever else can't make a movie by themselves without making close to $1 billion. I'm just going to leave that there for you people out there that watch these type of videos. Don't hate on a hero that actually is for the people instead of heroes that think they're heroes and think they're doing something right. When this movie is already proven to be better because it actually delved and did very well of what a hero that goes through this stuff is dealing with and gets done even on his own without some help. So overall, this movie is a 9 out of 10. The reason why I made it a 9 out of 10, you know what? 9.7 out of 10. The 0.3 is for the villain. Because it's just the way she should have been handled a little bit better. Not this other version that people got. But, and I wish it was a little bit longer. And I wish some of the fight scenes were a little bit longer. But I'm happy with what we got to excel the story about his mutations. The only questions I have for you guys Did you like the movie if you saw it? Do you wish for something more? And I'll leave you with this. Is Ned Leeds going to come back as the one that he knows? Or is Ned Leeds now still going to just fade away with MJ? And I want to know with you guys is if Peter kept the organic web shooters or not. The post-credit scene was him, I guess, going into the multiverse. I don't know if it's going to deal with Spider-Verse or Avengers Doomsday. I have no idea. I'm excited regardless because Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out next year. And I'm so excited for that because that is the final for any Spider-Man thing for Miles and all that. But let me know what you guys thought about the movie down below. Is it in your top 5 or is it not? Because for me, this movie is way better than Far From Home, Homecoming, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and that's it. Because right now, No Way Home, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Brand New Day, and if I had to pick my 5th one, if it was a Spider-Man project, Spider-Noir's up in my top 5. Movie or not, it still counts because it's a Spider-Man project. So, if we want to go movies, it'd be the second Across the Spider-Verse movie because that does count with the other ones. So, top 5 is that Across the Spider-Verse, Brand New Day, Tobey's 1 and 2, and then No Way Home. Those are top 5. They're not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they're in that general bubble. So, overall, what did you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Drop a like, and I hope you guys go see this movie so we can get it to $1 billion. 1.5, and I'll be happy. But I'll catch you guys in my next review. Peace.